What's up, guys? Welcome back to more Reddit stories about entitled people, insane people, and all that kind of stuff. And as usual, we'll be checking out some more Reddit posts today. So be sure to share your thoughts about today's stories down in the comments, and we're getting right into it. A group member is mad that a hiking event I planned isn't wheelchair accessible. I, late 20s, help run a small local group that organizes social events for adults in our area. Most members 20s to 40s, to help people reconnect after COVID and get out of isolation habits. We've held tons of different events: mall hangouts, museum trips, science centers, metro park picnics, basically things that are fun, low cost, and don't need alcohol. This month, we decided to do a hiking and picnic day at a nearby national park. The trails there are really pretty, but not paved, so it was definitely a more hike, physically active event compared to some of our other events. The day of the event, a member posted in our Facebook group asking if it was wheelchair accessible. At that point, it was too late to change plans, and honestly, the answer was no, the hike definitely wasn't accessible. And the picnic might have been accessible, but since the tables are first come first serve, we couldn't guarantee a flat, easy to get to spot. So I told them that it may not be fully accessible and gave the best and worst case areas we saw we may picnic at with pics from Google. That's when everything blew up. The members started calling us ableist and an asshole for not thinking of them, saying we should have thought about accessibility first, and that holding an event like this made them feel like an afterthought. People were blowing up our Facebook group saying we should only plan events that are accessible to everyone, and others were saying that not everything could be completely accessible. Now, this may be where I may be more of the asshole. After all the drama and being accused of being ableist, I responded with a bit of a snarky and rude remark, saying sorry I couldn't go out with my hammer and chisel the night before and make sure the rocky trails were smooth for everyone, and that if you would have actually read the event when we posted it, you would have seen where it's located and that it likely wasn't accessible. This is the first event we've done that wasn't wheelchair accessible. Literally all of our past ones were. The member who started the argument has come to maybe 1 or 2 events total. It just feels like we got attacked for trying to do something a little different for the people who do show up regularly. The event itself was super successful, great turnout. Everyone who came had fun, and people are already asking when we'll do another one. But now there's drama, and I feel like no matter what we do, someone will be upset. I get wanting to feel included, and I don't want anyone to feel excluded. But is it really fair to make every event work for every single person? Yeah, this is definitely a case of you really just can't make everyone happy all the time. I do get that it's gotta feel bad being excluded from an event because it's not accessible for you, and that's gotta suck. But we should also note that this group seems to plan events regularly, and like OP said, this person has only gone to 1 or 2 events in the past. So chances are if this particular event that they plan on this date was accessible, they might not have even gone anyway. It just sounds like this person got upset that this one event wasn't wheelchair accessible whether or not they were planning to go to it. I don't think there's anything wrong for just wanting to do a more physically active event, especially when you do plan all types of different get-togethers. Not everything's gonna work for everyone, and that's okay, there's always the next one. I'm sure some people in the group didn't go to the mall hangouts or the museum trips just because they're not into those. Same goes for the hiking trip. But with that said, OP also probably could have handled it a bit better too, instead of having a bit of a snarky attitude with them. Especially if OP and the other planners know that there's a wheelchair user in their group, it would have been good to at least be prepared with their response of, hey, sorry, I know that this event doesn't really work out for you, but we've got other events in the works too that we'd be happy to see you at. Neighbor installed a camera pointed directly at my bedroom window and says it's for security purposes. I'm losing my mind and I don't know what to do anymore. Moved into this duplex about 8 months ago. My neighbor Rick shares the wall with me. He's probably a late 50s, lives alone, seemed normal enough at first. Kept to himself mostly, which was fine by me. Things started getting weird around month 3. He began making comments about my schedule, like noticed you got home late Tuesday, or saw your friend's car here this weekend. I thought maybe he was just being neighborly or bored, I don't know. I'd just be like, yeah, and try to end the conversation. Then about a month ago, I'm closing my bedroom curtains at night and I noticed something. There's a camera mounted on his side of the house pointed directly at my window. Not at his door, not at the street, at my window. I went over the next day and asked him about it. He got super defensive immediately and said it's his property and he can put cameras wherever he wants for security. I said it's pointing into my bedroom and that's not okay. He literally said, "Then close your curtains if you're doing something you don't want seen." I reported it to my landlord. She said since it's technically on his side, she can't do anything and to call the police if I feel unsafe. I called the non-emergency line and they sent someone out. The cop looked at it, talked to Rick, came back and told me that unless I can prove he's recording me, there's nothing they can do. He suggested I invest in better curtains. So now I've had blackout curtains up for a month. I can't open my window. I keep my light off most of the time because I feel like I'm being watched even with the curtains closed. But it gets worse. Last week, my friend came over and parked in my spot. We each have one designated spot. The next morning, there's a note on her car that says, "Visitors must be approved 24 hours in advance." There's no such rule in our lease. I checked. Yesterday, I took my trash out at 10 p.m. because I forgot earlier. This morning, there's a note taped to my door saying, "Noise violations after 9 p.m. will be reported to management." I was outside for literally 45 seconds. I emailed my landlord again with all of this, and she responded with, "It sounds like a personality conflict. Maybe try talking it out." Talking it out? The man has a camera on my bedroom window. I looked up my state laws, and apparently as long as the camera is on his property, it's technically legal even if it's pointed at my window. The only thing I could maybe do is get a restraining order, but I'd need to prove harassment, and apparently notes and a creepy camera aren't enough. I can't afford to break my lease. I'm stuck here until next April. My boyfriend wants to go over there and, quote, have a conversation, but I know that'll just make things worse. My mom thinks I'm overreacting and that Rick is probably just lonely. I feel like I'm going insane. Anyone dealt with something like this? What are my actual options here because I'm running out of ideas? I love how the cops said that unless they can prove they're recording, then there's nothing they can do. It's like, yeah, it's probably just a camera pointed at the bedroom window, totally not recording, just pointed there because reasons. Definitely not recording though. And OP's mom is even saying, well, he's probably just lonely. It's like, yeah, mom, he probably is. That's probably why he's recording the inside of a woman's bedroom. Who the hell are these people? How can you even excuse that? And a comment here gave an interesting suggestion. They said, I saw this suggestion on another post about a neighbor pointing a camera at a bedroom window. It's unfortunately a popular topic. Quote, IR lights are invisible to the human eye, aka infrared. They will overwhelm the cameras since they use an IR lens. You'll send so much IR light their way that the camera will just show a white blob. They're like $25 on Amazon, you could put it up tomorrow. The person said they also work in the daytime. Don't take the laser pointer route. That could be considered destruction of your neighbor's property. I would go a step further and get a camera that points to your driveway, so you can catch the random note leaving and build a case for harassment. Minnesota credit unions set all bank accounts minus $10,000 to get attention to call. I got laid off from my job a couple months ago, and as a consequence of trying to make ends meet, I had to skip my credit card payment with my usual credit union last month. It isn't 30 plus late, just a single payment, which I was planning on making up using the extra check this month from unemployment. I opened my bank account today to see what I had for groceries, and noticed that every single account I had was $10K less than what was in it previously. I obviously called the bank, and they said that they do this to get a banking customer's attention to call them to discuss the overdue payment. They have since removed the fake $10K withdrawal. Wasn't shown as a withdrawal, just that everything was $10K less. I just don't know what else to call it. This feels like it could/should be illegal, but I'm not finding anything one way or the other. Edit because this question keeps getting asked. I had a couple hundred total from all my accounts. I opened the app and saw all 3 accounts at negative 9,000 and change. Yeah, that is so sketchy and weird. If a bank or credit union pulled that kind of thing with me, I'd be closing my accounts with them immediately. Like, screw that, that is so deceptive. I also get the feeling that there's nothing in the actual policies of this institution that says to do something like this. It's probably just the managers and employees of this branch deciding to play fast and loose with the rules. And these comments here also say, this brings up so many questions for me. On a technological level, how are they doing this? Who has access to the balance changing tools? What are the policies around how and why they can be used? Is it done manually? Is someone just typing a number into a box somewhere? On a systems level, is there a real balance and a display balance? and they're just editing the display variable? Or is it actually affecting the money allotted to that client? Can they increase the display balance or just lower it? There are so many ways this could go wrong, oh my god. And someone responded saying, I sure hope it was only for display purposes. Because imagine a check bouncing or an automatic payment failing because the bank put the account in the negatives. Imagine a customer doesn't check their balance regularly until they discover that their rent and electrical bill mysteriously didn't get paid. That would be nuts. Another comment says, I used to work in banking and this is my guess. I am purely speculating based on OP's description. The credit union probably placed a hold on OP's account, essentially setting aside the funds, making them unavailable but not actually withdrawing them. This can give the appearance of the available balance being reduced, but the money is all still there. Once the issue is resolved, they can remove the hold and the funds are available again. There can be legit reasons to do this, like for check holds or to comply with an IRS levy order. I'm not saying it was a legit reason in OP's case. I don't know the regulations that would affect this situation, and I personally think it's pretty crappy for them to do regardless, just explaining technologically how and why that capability exists. And just Googling this sort of situation real quick, this type of thing is called a statutory lien or right of offset, where they put a hold on your funds due to a late credit card payment. But it seems that it's typically only supposed to be for the total amount owed, and OP said that there was minus 10,000 on each of their accounts, plural. So at least a 20K hold, if not 30 or 40. And I doubt OP's credit card payment was that much. That is just insane. And there's also the fact that the representative specifically admitted that they do it just to get their attention. So yeah. Anyway guys, that's all for today. Thank you for watching, I appreciate it. And as always, if you enjoyed, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already for more Reddit content like this. So I'm out of here, take care and I'll see you next time.